Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart?
It's
so
so
friggin' good!
If you ever
Follow
put
me on
butter on a
TikTok.
Pop-Tart, you should watch episode 10 of the Chimps.
Hey guys, we're Bananas for Comics, episode 10.
And we're Rocco, Robbie, and Jonathan.
In not that order?
There's no order, we're in a circle. Kind of, really.
It depends on... I'm the head of the table.
You're the head of something.
The table. That's the something.
Have a good Christmas.
They can't respond.
I'm asking you two.
Oh.
Yeah. I had a good Christmas.
Yeah.
You know? I enjoyed myself. Had a good time.
Yes, my holidays. Were
Your
very
holidays?
nice. Yeah. There's no place like home for
Dude,
the
we're gonna get
phone?
copyrighted.
Yeah, wait a second.
Hollandaise.
Sauce. There you go. We fixed
I'm gonna make a sauce.
it. Okay.
So, a great big old huge enormous film came out.
How was your Christmas?
Oh, me?
First.
Me?
Yes. What's so funny? Did you not have a good Christmas?
No, I did. I was gonna call myself Jew Boy Slim.
Oh, don't do that.
You want to talk? You want to,
What's up?
You need to talk? Should we just
No, we're fine.
talk? Okay.
We're fine.
Making sure it's okay.
I had a good Christmas.
Cool.
So a little indie film came out on Christmas Day.
That was your
You
Christmas,
might
Rob.
He looked at me, Rocco, and said, "How was your Christmas, Robbie?" But both of us have answered, so it didn't matter.
All right, Robbie. What movie came out? Thanks for asking. Wonder Woman
No,
1984.
the movie that came out was Soul. That's what we're gonna be talking
Soulja Boy?
about. Soulja Boy.
Okay, but Soul is better than the movie we're going to talk about.
I disagree, but that's okay.
I haven't seen
I
it.
like both movies. I like one a little bit more than the other.
Yeah.
We're talking about Wonder Woman 1984, starring Gal Gadot, Pedro Pascal, one of the Chris's,
Christian Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. What
Not
Chris
that
is it?
Chris.
Chris Pine.
Fine.
Chris.
You watch
I-
it with the bookmark. You saw it like...
You're right. I threw the bookmark. Don't worry about it, folks at home. I want, right off the bat, before we even talk about the movie, just actor-wise, I loved all four of the main cast members a lot. That they were really great.
I really like Kristen Wiig.
That's it.
No, I like them.
Not a fan of Steve Trevor.
No, I am.
Not a fan of Simon Stagg.
Who?
Sam
That's the
Stagg.
guy,
Oh, like background
the old
character?
guy. That
Yeah, he was my
those
favorite.
background. All right, we're gonna get into it. There was like 5 background characters that made me lose my fucking mind. Made me laugh so hard, and they're not even in the
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
We'll get to it though.
There is some
Jonathan,
eccentric people.
before we talk about how we actually feel about this movie, how do you feel just about the actors in the movie and how
This is
they did?
a weird way to approach it.
That's how I wanted to start. I want to be different than everyone else. I want people to have a reason to listen to
Yeah,
the
but you gotta be
Chimps.
different in other ways. Not, not like this. It just doesn't make sense.
Whatever, we're already doing it.
They're fine.
They're just fine.
Yeah.
You wouldn't pay money to watch Chris Pine?
Oh, I like Chris Pine.
Oh, you like the man in the movie.
I don't think anybody was bad, but I don't think anyone was spectacular.
What?
Okay, moving on. Thank you, Robbie. I agree with that one. Should we talk about our beginning thoughts? This is going to be a spoiler talk, by the way.
Yeah, let's talk about how we felt going into it.
But yeah, before we'll talk about when we get into spoilers.
Yes. Give the heads up.
Robbie, you're the Wonder Woman stan. Why don't you start?
I was real excited for this movie. I listened to a couple of Patty Jenkins. I'm a fan of a podcast, Happy Sad Confused. She was on it. Talked a lot about the conception of the movie and making not like a Stranger Things, the '80s throwback. Not that Stranger Things mishandles it, but a
Stranger
genuine.
Things is one of the only ones that I feel like doesn't do it bad.
No.
But I know what
They
you're
had
saying.
fun with it. She actually wanted to make an 80s movie today. So it's not like a wink and the nod, remember the 80s. It's conceptually like an 80s movie. And I got that. I liked it. But I was very excited to see this.
Jonathan, what about you?
I was very excited to go and see it in the movie. I really liked the first one. everything I saw trailers-wise, cast-wise, it got me very excited to see the movie. So I was going in very excited. And Rocco, what do you think going in?
I went in extremely excited as well. The last few months, as I've kind of talked about on the podcast, I've been getting more and more and more into Wonder Woman. She's quickly becoming one of my favorite superheroes. So I was so excited to go see this. I've always loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I was very excited to see Chris Pine come back. I love Pedro Pascal. I was just very excited for just about everything in this movie. So
Yeah.
I think we all went in with a lot of excitement.
Very, very excited.
Now, Robbie, how did you feel leaving the movie?
Let me tell you this. I'm gonna say my letterbox review real quick, just to preemptively say. My only review was I'm biased. Sue me. I fully recognize that. I gave this movie 5 stars, and I really liked it. But as always, I'm going to acknowledge my massive bias, and I felt very catered to seeing this movie.
Should I go or should you go?
You gotta go. Yeah, you go.
Okay, so I will also get to my letterbox review. I gave the movie 4.5 stars out of 5. I also love this movie a lot. I left the movie. My exact words when I left were, I felt hopeful. I thought this movie did what it set out to do very well, which to me felt like it was Patty Jenkins trying to channel like a Richard Donner Superman type film. It just felt happy.
It was a massive influence of hers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It felt happy. It felt fun. I just had a really great time watching it. I felt that the 2.5 hours flew by. I didn't notice how long it was really until I saw the clock afterwards. And my exact review was, this is the best Superman movie ever made. Me and Robbie both saw this before all the, what we will get to, reviews came out. So I didn't have any sort of influence from anyone before reviewing it.
I was certainly surprised.
Me too, but we'll get to that.
The reviews.
Um,
Because even though I knew,
I didn't think the Snyder fan, not that I'm not a Snyder fan, but I didn't
Right.
think most of the Snyder fans were gonna like it.
I was surprised at who's liking this and who is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jonathan, how do you feel about this
Yeah,
movie?
I mean, I went in hearing most of the negative reviews, but also hearing your positive reviews. So that actually set me in the mind that, of course I'm going to like it. Both of you guys like it. We have similar tastes, especially in these kinds of movies. But unfortunately, I left the movie extremely disappointed. I did not like it at all. I did not hate the movie. I don't think it's a terrible movie. I just overall did not like it. I found it to be very uninteresting, overly long. I just could not get into it at all. I'm sorry.
And that's okay, because here's the thing. It's been, 5 days now since I saw it the
Almost a
first
week.
time.
A day away from a week.
I watched it again last night, and I've been listening to and reading reviews and listening to different people, podcasts I like talk about it, and I watched it again last night, right? So I was like, all right, maybe I'll see some of these complaints, but I still really loved it when I watched it a second time. So I'm really interested to actually talk 2-on-1, because we probably both
2-on-1.
like it. But I'm very interested in actually hearing your thought process about it and kind of going back and forth about it, because I want to understand why people don't like it. I guess maybe I sort of have a bias too at this point, because I left it watching the second time and I was still in love with this movie. I love it so much.
I'm surprised at the little. It's weird. I have a very little drive to defend it. This is a movie for some reason I am just comfortable liking, even if a lot of people aren't.
I think I'm just
It's a good place to be on it.
I'm so used to defending DC EU movies that I feel like I have to defend every.
And normally you're defending them from me.
Well, yeah, you don't
is
like the
funny.
Snyder movies, and finally have Robbie on my side. Yeah, I made a joke the other day that I thought I was finally past the days of having to defend the superhero movies I liked because every DC movie was getting well reviewed, and now this one came out, and I'm right back in 5 years ago defending when I was defending Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman.
Wah, wah.
At it again.
So, all right, the movie itself.
I say we should start from the top.
Yeah, let's start. So we're gonna go through the whole, at least all the major beats in the movie. Cutie. We'll go through all the major beats of the movie.
You flirt.
So, of course, they're not gonna get... Okay. Spoiler alerts ahead. Most people will have seen it. It's on streaming, so...
Yeah. If you haven't seen it by now...
You just watch it.
It's good. I at least...
Would you say
you
as
might
someone
not...
who didn't love it, if you have HBO Max to watch it?
Listen, if you like comic book movies, if you like those kind of movies... I mean, if you don't like those kinds of movies, don't watch it. It's not going to change your mind on them. But,
That's fair. It's not going to change someone who doesn't like superheroes' mind.
You know, but if you like them, give it a shot, you know.
Yeah. I just think it's pretty split, but it's probably like 60... Or it's probably like 65-35... Or, yeah, 65-35 to dislike to like that I've seen online, right? It's like almost split.
Yeah. There's a little more in the dislike.
But yeah, we'll go through this one by one. So let's start with the Amazon scene, right?
So
the Olympics.
The opening, is a form of the Amazonian Olympics, you could say. This was something that I wished was in the first movie. I believe I leaned over to you and said...
You did, yeah.
It's not quite what I meant by that. What I meant is the tournament that proves Diana worthy to go to Man's World is this big Olympic-esque tournament.
Which is what it is in most of the comics, right?
Yeah. So this, obviously, if you've seen the first movie, isn't the deciding factor for that. But it's a version of that where a very young Diana participates.
She's probably like 8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, and the idea is it was about taking shortcuts.
Yeah, it spelled out the themes in the movie. She literally tells you the...
But I thought that was a nice opening. It was fun.
Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, no problem with the opening. It was cute. It was fun. Like, my problems don't come into quite a bit later.
For me, and I felt this on both viewings, I think the scene is a lot of fun, and it's a good scene. I don't think it's poorly done at all. I also think it's the most unnecessary scene in the movie, to me.
Yeah, it's kind of unnecessary.
Sorry, I just took like a giant sip into the microphone.
Sorry, fellas. For me, I think because it's already a 2.5 hour movie. This is like almost a half-hour scene. It's like 20 minutes. You could cut this entire scene out. Nothing would be different.
I agree, but it was also nice to see
it's
Themyscira again and Robin Wright.
And I mean that was the whole point.
Yeah.
And like I said, to kind of, it's not even hint. It tells you the themes of the movie in it. I don't think it's a bad scene, like I said. There's something I'll get into later. I wish there's only two problems I have, or there's only one problem I have with the movie, and I think that it could have been fixed with an extra 20 minutes of screen time used for that instead of what we got at the beginning.
I do think the next scene would have been a better opening scene.
Yeah.
This next scene might be my favorite scene in the movie.
It's my favorite scene
mall.
too.
The mall scene put me in a mood.
It's a great scene.
Oh man, this movie's awesome. I'm gonna love it.
There's a very over-the-top heist at a mall.
Well, first you see her just rescuing civilians without being seen, which is really great.
Yeah.
It's very Superman-esque.
Yes.
Jumping people out of the way of cars, stopping people from falling off bridges.
And
really great.
The scene that ensues is fantastic because the colors are bright. I would say she's combating the people, but no one's getting hurt.
I watched it twice. I'm gonna keep saying I watched it twice. I on the second viewing, I looked for how many deaths are in this movie. I counted 0. I didn't see a single person die.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. When's the last time there's a superhero movie where people don't die? That's great.
I mean, I'm sure there's assumed casualties.
No, there's not. on rewatching it, I couldn't find a single one.
I don't know.
I mean, like, the stuff, like...
I feel like there could be...
There's, like, a lot of stuff going on.
I mean,
Like,
I guess you could assume people, like, fall off the tower.
Streets basically on fire.
Yeah, I think in some of those riots you could have...
Okay,
riots.
but, like...
That's why I said assume.
There's
not
no
like,
on-screen deaths.
That's why I said assume.
And, yeah, none in the cause of Wonder Woman.
There was one that I thought occurred, and I got really bummed.
Yeah,
right
we
up until I
both
saw
did.
it wasn't.
We will get to that stuff later, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
back to the mall.
Let's hit the big points.
The mall scene. I love the villains. I love the goofy
Oh
hairstyle. I love these... How they acted. It was so much fun.
So over the top in the best way possible.
This scene definitely had a very fun tone.
Yeah. I mean, and we saw the promotional picture of her holding him upside down by one leg, but that's amazing, too. When the guy pulls a gun out on her, and she's like, we're not going to do that today, and he just runs away, that's perfect. I love all of that stuff.
The little girl who comes in harm's way, who she slides across the floor into a giant teddy bear.
Oh, it's great.
And then winks at later is awesome.
Yeah, it's so
It's
wholesome.
Very happy, very fun. I was all about that.
And this is where I started to really settle into what I mean by this movie is really catering to me. It was so devoid of any sort of, like, grit or brutality that's been associated with the character in the modern
Don't worry,
age.
that comes in March. When Cider Cut comes out.
Yeah. I mean, it was just so exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, it seemed very much like I said, like the Reeve Superman movies, but also like the 70s TV show and even like I'm sure I haven't read them, but I'm sure like the George Perez comics because I'm sure that's what Patty Jenkins grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I'm glad we all love this scene.
Yeah.
I definitely think this is the best scene in the movie,
Yes.
Yeah.
or at least one of.
It's
And
the best.
so, we are gonna have to kind of speed through the story
Well,
here.
yeah,
So the big points.
we meet
We meet Cheetah, Kristen Wiig's character, or
Then
Barbara
Barbara
and
Minerva.
that's pretty much
That's where it starts for you.
when I start falling off.
you don't like Barbara in it.
No, she reminds me of Jamie Foxx in
I don't think she's nearly as bad as Jamie
I think
Foxx.
I think it's a very conscious choice to be like the Poison Ivy in the Schumacher movie, Catwoman in Dark Knight.
I think it's more supposed to be
Batman
like
Returns.
those than.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think it lands.
I just think she's very likable. From like when the moment you meet her, she drops the stuff and she's like a little sarcastic about it when that guy doesn't want to help her. And she's like, oh, like she just makes like a little snarky remark, but it still comes off as nerdy because I don't know. I enjoyed it.
It's just such the cliche, but I don't feel like they're. I know it's purposeful, but they're not. It doesn't feel purposeful. It doesn't feel like they're doing anything with it. It just feels like the cliche. It doesn't feel like anything to me. Like,
Okay.
oh, it's charming. It's just a cliche to me. I don't think it lands.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's
And
probably
that's something that.
The camp is certainly not landing for everyone.
that runs
Yeah,
throughout.
I'd say that is a big factor between people who are liking and disliking it.
Whether it's intentional or not, and I believe it's intentional, doesn't matter to me. I just don't think it lands.
That's very fair. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
not. It can't land for everyone.
And so, just the presence of her and meeting
Diana.
Diana and working at the museum leads us to the MacGuffin of the movie.
Yep, the wishing stone.
Yes.
Which I do not like at all.
Do not like.
I like that it's.
I liked how goofy it was.
Yeah, it's so goofy, and we get rid of it pretty fast. It's only in like 20, like.
I mean, the
15 minutes.
physical stone.
Well, yeah, but I think it works a lot better when we eventually Maxwell Lord makes himself the stone because he's just such a presence in the movie, and like so his first scene we really see him in is when he's with Barbara Ann, right? So, and I remember looking over Robbie and being like, these two have such an energy, and I'm so in love with these two characters because the first scene you see him in, she's like, don't I know you? And he just does his, life is good, but it can be better. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's
He's
right into the camera.
He's such a personality.
I love how campy and fun it is. I think this movie is just so much fun. I don't think there's ever a moment where I was never like, ugh. Like, I was always just had a smile on my face. I just enjoy it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I was kind of the opposite. Bored throughout.
You were bored.
That's my biggest thing. I was kind of just bored.
Wow.
I've heard, so a complaint I have heard is that a lot of people, or not a lot, I don't know how many, but they think that the movie in the first act, so like up until, I would say the middle act starts around when they go to Egypt, or at least when he makes himself the stone. I would say a lot of people were like saying that Diana doesn't have anything to do, and they don't like that she's just wandering around. But I don't know, I really enjoyed her running around with Steve, and just, like, that was a really fun moment while we built up Max. To me, like, I thought it was a good way of keeping Diana busy while we build up the villain, because you can't just have him all this, like, already be a power-hungry monster. Like, he has to build up to losing his humanity.
Yeah, I mean...
That's how I feel about it.
I mean, that's something that I somewhat enjoyed with the Steve Trevor stuff. So.
Yeah, but a lot...
Yeah, so, wait, I want to talk about how Steve Trevor comes
But
back.
even that is very strange.
It's
and
interesting.
Weird.
That is something that...
It could have been terribly wrong, but I think by making it Chris Pine, you kind of forget about it, since they changed actors.
I felt very strange about this.
No, yes, it's
so
a
what
very
happens
strange
is...
Very
choice.
weird.
Basically, the wishing stone, the concept is you wish for something, but it's going to take something. So for Diana wishing Steve to come back, the thing it takes is...
Slowly her superpowers.
But also the fact,
well, yeah.
the taking of that man's life, because Steve Trevor just comes back in another man's body. And
he's a good Chris Pine impersonator, though.
I was very confused for a minute there.
I watched it first on HBO Max, and I rewound that scene. I was so confused 2 or 3 times. Because it just turns, and I'm like, what's going on? I have a thing where I am terrible with faces. Absolutely horrible with actors' faces. You were sharing that picture of Pedro Pascal pointing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Pedro Pascal.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, who is this guy?
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
I'm very bad with faces, and I adore Pedro Pascal. So
to be fair, he
I
does
was
look
like,
pretty different in this.
Without a mustache.
Without a mustache.
With the blonde
I was
hair.
looking at that guy. I'm like, why does he look so? Why does? Oh, what's his name?
Chris Pine.
Why does Chris Pine look so different? Because I'm aware I have the thing.
Yeah, and you're
with the
expecting him.
faces. And I'm like, and I was so confused by that.
I
How did you
think
feel
if
about
this
it?
kind of messed with me.
So here's my thing. It's definitely weird.
Yeah.
But in this campy movie, I don't think this movie ever tries to be too serious. I'm able to put that to the side. Like, if this was Wonder Woman 1, which is by far a more serious movie,
Yes.
it would have been fucking awful. I would have been like, this doesn't work. But in this, like, this movie is just so jumpy and fun. I keep saying that because I love it. But
Yeah.
like,
So-
I'm able to get past stuff like that because it's like, it's just fun. It's weird, but it's fun.
That stuff is what keeps me in the camp of just not liking it and not hating it. Because all that stuff annoys me, it was annoying me, but I'm like, okay, it makes sense for this.
Oh, I see.
Like, it works in this.
It works in this context.
Like the
Yeah.
whole stone stuff, pretty much everything with the stone I did not like. But I'm like, it's just the rules are so unclear. But they're not going for like
I think the
a
rules are
clear,
pretty clear.
concise thing for this stone. They're not like going for like a fully accurate, I mean, it's like can't be fun.
Yeah. So basically, Pedro Pascal wishes to be
He steals
the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been thinking about this for a while.
So now, when people touch him, he can grant their wish and take something at choice in return.
So the stone would originally just take whatever was most precious to you, or not most, like an equal value item.
Yeah.
So like the guy was, I still think the funniest scene.
Oh, the coffee guy.
The guy, just as a joke, wastes his wish on a cup of hot coffee.
Yeah, everyone gets one wish.
And so it just burned his tongue because that was like the equivalent of wishing for the coffee. It was too
it's
hot.
so low risk.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was
I
really
think
good.
I,
That's cute.
I was in the
That was
theater. So Robbie and I were lucky enough to get to see it in the movie theater
Yes.
because there was like no one in the theater.
They didn't invite me, guys.
Jonathan was busy. Okay.
The guys,
We assumed you were busy.
I just want everyone to know on this podcast live that they did not invite me.
He was busy. Look, I remember out loud laughing in the theater when the guy wasted his one wish on a cup of coffee because it was just
funny.
hysterical. But
There's a couple of like midline jokes that
There,
really made
yeah,
me
so
laugh.
there's a Steve Trevor one I'm gonna get to that cracked me up too. But yeah. So when he gets the wishing stone, instead of like it just taking whatever the equivalent thing is, he gets to choose what it is. So it could be like a low risk thing, like a cup of coffee, but he could take your organs if he really needed them.
Yeah, it's up to him.
Yeah. So, which I guess isn't clear. It wasn't very clear at first to me. But on a rewatch when I knew it, I was like,
come like the second or third wish.
then you're like,
I
yeah,
was
but like,
oh, okay.
when he does it to Simon Stagg, I was like, is he just gonna like forcefully take his stocks?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh no, like he just wished for the stocks to be his. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So we've established it goes goofy, and these wishes are definitely take some huge leaps of logic throughout the movie.
I will agree with that. But like I
There
said,
are-
because
no,
of
no.
how campy and cheesy
Yeah.
it is, it works.
There's just to illustrate, there are some, like you brought up an excellent point with the nukes.
Yeah.
That one is definitely the biggest plot hole.
What he said though.
We'll get to the nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's just weird.
We'll get to the nukes.
They also
because
get like the worst Ronald Reagan impersonator of all time. I didn't even know that was
That was
like.
supposed to be Ronald Reagan.
I mean, Ronald Reagan was
Or-
president in
I thought it was
1984.
just like fictitious president.
I don't think it's supposed to be fictitious. Fictitious.
No, it was supposed to be. That's 84.
Is Reagan.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then yeah.
I mean, I guess you could argue because there's cities that don't exist in our world in D.C. that they could have voted different presidents because the sway would have been different in the polls. But
Yeah, but that's just too complicated.
that's a Patrick H. Willems video for later. So
We love you, Patrick H. Willems.
thank you for. We both shout him out. What a good dude. All right,
What a great dude.
continuing on.
Yeah. So basically, Pedro Pascal is a man on a quest for infinite power, while Cheetah is on this.
Well, he's on a quest to make his son proud by getting power.
Listen, Rocket, we're at 28 minutes.
He's
a man on a quest for power.
I like
Yeah.
him.
Yes, his
in
son
this
is
so
involved.
much. I love Max Lord's
Sons.
And Kristen Wiig is on
Son.
a slow
There's only
Yeah.
one.
spiral of becoming distant and more hatred fueled towards
Hi, Robbie.
Diana. Yes.
Not towards Diana
Yes.
until later.
That's what I said, a slow spiral.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Robbie. Would you describe her character as a little catty?
I think I would.
Okay. So this is where I wanted to get into my point about what I thought the extra 20 minutes could be used for instead of the opening.
With Cheetah.
So yeah, I think she's great as Cheetah, and I like Cheetah's character in it. One thing that is very prevalent in the comics is that Diana and Barbara were really great friends before Barbara Ann became Cheetah.
Yeah.
And in this movie, you get
Rocket did that, but yeah.
okay, whatever. But that's the one I've read, so shut up. What was it? Oh yeah, so you only get one scene in the entire movie of them being friends. It's when they go out to lunch. Then you just assume that they're really good friends. You know, like later on, Barbara's like, I hung out with Max Lord. I'll tell you about it later, which was a really good. I thought was a very fun and good delivery. But it's like, and a good friend of ours, Shy, brought up when we were watching it again last night that it feels almost like Diana's talking to Barbara like a boss, like as if she's Barbara Ann's boss, and it felt very much like that to me. And that is the one thing I wish we just got 20 minutes of them being friends.
It does remind me of Spider-Man being friends with Jimmy Fox.
Okay, shut the fuck up. We're not talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2. They are not.
He's coming back though.
He's
yeah,
coming back.
everyone's coming back. Apparently.
I will say,
my one complaint. Though.
as excited as I was for this movie, I was very unsure of how they were going to play Cheetah. Because we had, in that final trailer we saw like the full CG enhanced furry cat
But
person.
she doesn't get that until the last act.
Yeah, but regardless, up until that moment, there was a lot of like, oh, she's wearing like all cheetah print.
That would have sucked if they just did.
And
Yeah.
I knew this movie was going for like an 80s vibe, and I kind of thought like, are they gonna do like an 80s cop out where they like make the high concept more mainstream? And I was very glad that they didn't just do that.
I think
It was that for a little bit, but the fact that it comes full circle.
Yeah, and so really fast though, because we'll get back to the final scene. But how do you feel about Cheetah's like final? Do you think it looks good in the CGI form?
I think up close.
It looks amazing up close. I think.
It looks good. It looks fine.
I think it looks
nothing like out of this world to me. But the one issue I have with it, which is she's kind of gray.
Oh.
Where brings back the cliche of finding a gray villain at the end.
I don't think it's to that degree. It's not.
It's at night, it's dark, and it's gray.
But it's got a blue tint. It's not just dark.
For the movie where throughout it was pretty colorful, I was kind of disappointed that this final fight was like that. Kind of gray.
I see what you're saying.
Kind of dark. I was hoping at least I'd get, like, that bit would be more fun. I was, like, throughout, I was thinking, okay, at least, like, we're going to have, like, those fun ending battles. This isn't going to go back to that gray villain thing, but it kind of did for me.
I don't think it went the full
It's not
CGI gray monster thing, but it was
dark.
Dangerously close to that.
Yeah. And me already not liking it, I'm just
yeah.
come on.
We'll get back to the ending. I can see it's, I definitely wish it was brighter out and stuff, but like you said, up close, she looks phenomenal, I think. Like, I'm excited for her to be in the next movie as, like, a full cheetah the whole time.
I would like to see it again, but I am pretty sure it was not as CG as I thought.
It wasn't full CG when you're up close.
Up close. Yeah. I think her... Because I wasn't sure
especially
if
underwater.
They were gonna do like more of like the rebirth, like cat face with the more of a snout, and I wasn't sure like how. I think they got a really good balance there.
I agree. Well, let's jump back. We'll go to Egypt. So, how did you guys feel about the Egypt scene?
I don't know how much I don't know how much I want to talk about this segment.
No, we're not getting into. No, just as an action sequence.
Yeah.
So you have Max Lord. Builds the wall around. Well, he gets the guy to build the wall around Egypt for his land, and he takes a security team and leaves. And Wonder Woman's chasing after him on the road. He's got like a whole security team of like 50 people at least.
Yeah, it's a moving action set piece going from car to car essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it, Jonathan?
It's good. I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun action sequence.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is a little depowered at this moment.
So, yeah, she gets shot at one point.
And I think this movie does something good at using Chris Pine as a sidekick. He always has just enough to do.
Where he's not just useless,
and he never overshadows Wonder Woman, even the one or two times he has to come in and really help out.
That reminds me, when you said Chris Pine, we passed the joke I wanted to bring up.
The bike.
No, the bike is great.
That's funny.
So yeah, he's like, I don't know how to get this bike to work. It was a workout bike.
Like,
but the joke immediately before that, like literally 2 seconds before, where he's like, I found you in the phone book. I guess some things are future proof. I don't know why that got me so hard, because I guess within 15 years the phone book is useless.
That's
so
funny.
And just for some reason, no one laughed at that joke in the theater, and I was like, no, I thought it was funny.
I don't know why. I feel like I missed it somehow.
Yeah. I thought it was hysterical. But anyways, going back to this scene, yeah, I thought this scene was great. There's a direct throwback that I think a lot of people didn't pick up on because they all crapped on the CGI, or not the CGI, but the point of view for this scene when she's running forward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like a treadmill shot. Is a direct reference to the 70s show, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just didn't get that and just like crapped on how it looked. But if you're specifically going for the exact shot from the 70s show, I think that's fair to look like that.
As I said before, there's a lot of the camp that I think is the defining thing for people at this point.
I don't know. I thought that was a fun looking shot,
I mean,
but that's nitpicking.
I think even if you get it, it's just not going to work for everyone.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, for what I'm about to say, I just like it whenever Wonder Woman saves kids. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
No joke.
It was like a Spider-Man 2 homage too.
Yeah, so
it was
that's
like
it.
almost
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
There was one moment when
it's very cool.
she, got the kids in the air and then she fell to the ground and did the roll.
Yeah.
Where I was just looking at it and she was rolling really aggressively, and I mean, obviously, it's a movie, but there was like one part of the roll where I'm like, oh, those kids probably got a little hurt from that. Because it was like a really aggressive roll.
Actually,
it's on her back, and then she goes...
And then she goes over them.
It's
boom,
funny
right
enough.
under the children.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing
I
when
did
I
too.
saw it
I'm
too.
like,
It's
oh.
funny.
Yeah, that's something I really, again, loved. Wonder
Just
Woman is
seeing-
saving people left
Yeah.
and right. Which I
That's
love.
another thing, for as much as I love the Snyder movies, a very valid criticism is you never see Superman just saving civilians, really. And it's great seeing any superhero get to do that, because I feel like a lot of superhero movies, you don't see that in anything.
Not enough.
In the old Raimi movies, you saw Spider-Man go out his way, but I think this movie also, Raimi was channeling those Richard Donner movies
Very
in the same
similar
way.
thing,
So
yeah.
I think
I see some tonal crossover.
for sure. I think she obviously takes Patty Jenkins obviously takes more from Donner, but I definitely see some Sam Raimi influence as well.
Yeah.
Just because of the evolution of that type of film.
I want to talk about something that you pointed out to me, Jonathan. With
Nukes. The nukes.
we should cover that first. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that is the next segment. Well, you have the MacGuffin.
Well, this
you have
is-
like the next
this is
like
the
MacGuffin
end of the nukes.
Yeah.
The end of the movie.
No, this is just a very interesting point.
So I mean, undoing the wishes. Okay, so first of all, it's going for the campy, happy,
Yeah,
wholesome
because you
feeling.
have to assume that every single person.
Realistically, not everyone's gonna
No,
return
yeah.
their wishes. But you know what? Whatever.
It works
That-
for how campy this movie
I
is.
mentioned earlier that a lot of those things annoyed me, but they kept me from hating it. This one didn't really annoy me. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like if it was Wonder Woman 1 again,
The thing
that wouldn't have worked.
The
'cause
thing that I
movie's a lot
thought was
darker.
so funny.
The thing that
Yeah.
that bugs me is
That the nukes disappeared.
a good thing. Yeah, good thing they fired a wish nuke.
Yeah,
If
that
they
could've-
fired a real
that it
nuke,
went over.
It would have been over. Also, what does undoing the wishing do? It doesn't get rid of people's memories.
So,
The nukes. What was I saying about the nukes?
just
they
like-
disappeared. They were wish nukes. Good for us.
yeah,
Thank
they
God.
only fired the wish.
They
nuke.
Whatever.
only fired the wish nukes. Also,
Just
yeah.
a funny thought.
Yeah, no, it is.
What does the wishing stone do? Does it like? It just doesn't erase their memories. So like, who were they bombing again? Russia.
Russia.
or
It's
whatever?
like everyone's bombing
Yeah,
everyone.
Russia. America bombing Russia. They're bombing each other. Just because these wishes like make the nukes disappear, they still
Knew the other one was willing to. yeah.
Do it,
fight.
yeah.
And you know, there's already so much like.
But you could argue, like, since both of their stuff disappeared on their radars and stuff like that, you could argue, like, they thought it was, like, a freak incident, and now they're just
Well,
back at the same standstill.
It's
But also
at the end of the day, it's
It's a campy movie.
it is about removing the conflict to remove the
I understand it's not about that.
Yeah.
I
No,
understand.
It's...
Like, you know, maybe that wasn't
That's a valid
necessarily...
writing criticism, but like I said, I'm able to look past a lot of these ones just because of how campy
Yeah,
it is.
that one wasn't necessarily intentional or at all, but again, because of the tone of the movie, because of the way it was, kept me just in the mind of, yeah, I just don't like this. Not that I
just
hate it.
before we swing the story in for our landing with the two big end moments.
Yeah.
So Chris Pine understands that he's got to go bye-bye. He can't take this man's life, and he can't continue to exist while Diana is losing her powers.
Yeah, because he knows the world needs Diana.
Yeah.
A lot of the thing with that guy, back to that guy. Just going with his life. His life is kind of messed up.
Yeah,
Not
there's,
really.
there's some funny moments, though.
His life doesn't get messed up.
I mean, yeah, we do see him.
All right, but
Lucky
yeah, so
him.
we go into the White House scene.
Well, no. I wanted to, so, how do you feel about Chris Pine coming and going?
I like it.
Can't wait for the next movie from you again.
I don't think he's gonna come back in the third one.
I was wondering if...
I think
That'd be funny.
we're gonna, because you get a nice send off in the first movie when he dies, but then you get like a nice like closure moment for Wonder Woman in the second one, where she realizes that she does need to move. Because the whole movie's about her wanting to move on, like not being able to open herself up.
I think the way Chris Pine disappears, I felt like as he disappeared, I was really waiting for something else to happen, and then when it cut, I was like, oh,
No.
it's just gone.
Can I actually? There's a cool that Shy, our friend, picked up that I really liked, like thematic wise. So when she runs away from him after they kiss, and she goes off to fight Max Lord and Cheetah, she lassos onto an airplane, and it's like he'll always be there for her
Yeah.
to help her.
Yeah.
And I like that.
No, I
Cute.
just meant
I like that.
Cute.
in the way we last see him on screen.
He's
sort of-
she's running away. Yeah.
I just felt that was like, oh, that was very sudden.
Well, he yells out like, "I'll always love you and always be there for
Oh,
you."
I know.
But yeah, it is sudden. But I kinda
but
like
that
it.
scene that follows with the music swells
It's
and going through the air,
she's-
I thought was awesome.
Yeah, and Hans Zimmer does the score for this movie just
he
like
reused 2 tracks.
so. Yeah, he
Very
does.
interesting.
That was one of 2 moments that I really liked. That was when she was flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The opening
They
in the
just
mall.
will not commit to if she can fly or not.
And yeah, the flying scene that made me happy. I like the flying.
Well, nothing in the other movies say she can't fly, but yeah, whatever.
Well, if she could fly, there'd be a lot of situations being
Whatever.
solved.
So in that scene, something I really liked was a nice callback to Man of Steel, where the music is different, but it's a very similar song Hans Zimmer made for the first flight scene in Man of Steel.
I'd say it's just an orchestral swell.
Well, no, there's like actual. Because he composes.
No,
that.
I know.
It's similar. It's not. It's an orchestral swell, but it
All
also
of his
has
stuff
like
is pretty similar.
yeah, but it has like the same piano beats or keys as in the first flight song in Man of Steel.
That's the one scene I really like in that movie.
It's a good scene. All right.
Yeah, we should get on.
We'll finish.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. So
Wrap it up.
we didn't talk about the White House. But the White House scene's cool, right?
Yeah, we don't
You like
really
the
have
White
to
House
get into it. Basically, Maxwell Lord absorbs all the powers of the president to broadcast his image across the entire
That's another
world.
silly thing that. Is
but that is so over the top. 70s.
But this
like,
leads
camp.
into something Jonathan told me about that I actually didn't pick up on that I really like now that you pointed out to me.
This was another thing that I liked.
Yes.
Which is the whole end scene, which is the end for when he's broadcasting on live TV. Immediately, I think of the moment in I don't remember what book it is.
One of the events.
One of the events where Wonder Woman snaps Maxwell Lord's neck on live TV.
It's Infinite Crisis.
An Infinite Crisis. Where he
that's the book where he becomes evil, also.
And I'm like, so you wouldn't necessarily realize this.
But if you're a fan of the comics, you could. That's cool. I didn't know that either because I've never read it.
What's the word?
Huh?
Subversion.
Yeah.
Your expectations.
Yes.
You wouldn't necessarily realize the subversion unless you.
Looking back on it now, if I had made that connection, I would have been very, very nervous.
Yeah.
Because I do not like that moment at all.
I was like,
they're
not gonna do that. Like, cause
that would have been an insane change in tone. Too.
That would everything that I wasn't sure about would make me go from liking it to hating it.
That would have ruined a good portion of my feelings for it. If
that would have dented a lot.
And the fact that it didn't go that way and it made me feel like it might go that way was another thing that made me really like that scene.
Yeah.
But
and I think
overall
that was very conscious.
Did not like the ending, but
So here's the thing with the end. Well, how did you feel about the White House action scene? Fast.
That was like around the time where
you were just kind of over the movie.
I was over the movie. I could not get into that at all. I just kept checking how long the movie's left around that point. The last whole half hour.
What about you?
Hard for me to get through.
That's the big scene where I think they used Steve Trevor the best action-wise.
I think
the back and forth was very fun.
The fight one?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that for some reason.
I really like all the action scenes, but this one's actually probably my least favorite, just because I was so excited to see Cheetah become Cheetah and all that stuff. But I still like it a lot. There's not a scene in this movie I don't.
So the way it wraps up is
so yeah, you get the Cheetah fight.
Wonder Woman and Cheetah fight, and it looks like Cheetah died, and I leaned
over
to Rocco.
We both leaned over to each other.
And I was like, man, I fucking hate that.
And then she's not dead.
She's not dead.
So we get to see her in the third one, which I can't wait for.
Maybe, yeah. Hopefully.
You kidding me? Of course she's going to be in the third one.
And basically, Wonder Woman does a very good, very Wonder Woman thing of defeating the villain, not with a fight, but with a very loving speech.
Yeah, which is exactly what Patty Jenkins wanted to do in the first one that the studio wouldn't let her do with Ares. Patty Jenkins wanted to just do a speech, which I like. I like seeing that. Made it even more hopeful for me, where you don't always have to end it in a big violent fight.
And basically the connection there is Maxwell Lord runs back to be a father to his son.
Yeah, because you get to see his past and see him how his dad mistreated him.
I like how his son kind of just comes out of nowhere. That kind of made me laugh. I was annoyed at that.
He just walks out of the woods.
That was
nondescript woods.
Very funny. But I do like that scene a lot. I love, even though Maxwell is going crazier and crazier throughout the film, I love watching him in every scene, and I'm so happy he didn't die, and I was so happy that he got a happy ending. Even if it's so campy, but it's so much fun. And he's just talking to his son. He's like, I want you to love me, and I'm gonna make you proud. He's like, you don't gotta do that. I already love you. And then I'm like, oh, that's cute.
So one last note before final thoughts.
The Christmas scene.
Yeah, it has a very Hallmark Christmas ending.
Oh, I learned
It's cute.
Yeah.
that actor
Is a Hallmark actor.
is a Hallmark
Yes.
actor.
Oh, that's hysterical.
That's very
Yeah.
funny. Which made me like that scene a little bit more.
It's,
It's
that
funny.
makes it even
Because
better.
I'm like, this is so stupid. I
but
don't
it's
like
so
this.
cute. I think that scene's cute. I like it's a throwback to the one outfit she liked of his.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Fun outfit montage.
Yeah.
So a little cameo in the post credit. That
That was awesome.
did you see the post credit?
Yeah.
Just very fun. Linda Carter's back. She plays. I always forget the name. The owner
one
of the
that-
gold armor.
Yeah.
A real mythical.
No matter
Figure.
no matter how campy something is, how much it goes for, like that kind of thing, the one thing that always annoys me is genuinely winking at the camera. Not like, oh, it's
Oh,
an
yeah?
actual wink at
She
the
does
camera.
wink at the camera.
She has a genuine wink at the camera, and I just don't like that.
I feel like.
And then it cuts straight from that to like saying,
Special guest Linda Carter.
yeah, like
I liked it.
I feel like
You lost your shit. In the
I did.
movies.
Yeah. Linda Carter is. I'm a very big fan of.
She's.
But think about this. I think I agree with you on the whole, Jonathan. But a cameo like that, in a world where we still had Christopher Reeves, imagine a Superman post-credit where Christopher Reeves looks at the camera and it says, "Thank you, Christopher Reeves." You know what I mean?
yeah, I would be really happy. You're right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
You're right. You're
Or
right.
even Adam West Batman.
I feel like there is a
Any of them.
couple of really earned moments.
It's
like
those
that.
three. I think it's those three. Adam
Yeah.
West, Christopher Reeves, and Linda Carter.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost your shit. Isn't she like she's in her 60s, right?
She's 65. I
She
think.
does not look 65. It's
Linda
pretty
Weston
awesome.
Reeves.
What?
Linda.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, we can't though.
We can't.
We and you can't have that. So
What?
good for you, Robbie.
Oh, thank you.
No, we don't get that. We get the camera, you know.
One more thing. Cheetah wants to be like unlike anything that they've ever
Oh my God,
seen
it's
before.
Not that funny.
But Cats
Ha ha.
came out
ha.
4 years
4 years
earlier.
before it. Why do you have to
Whatever.
say that?
Sorry.
I like Cats.
Do you want to re-say the joke, Jonathan?
No.
All right, let's sum it up with the final
love
thoughts.
you.
I think we've given a lot of how we felt, so let's
Oh, I mean,
wrap
yeah.
it
Final
up
thoughts.
with a number out of 10. Rocco.
I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
I, again, full acknowledge this just did everything I wanted, and I am severely consciously forgiving everything, giving it a 10 out of 10, just because I was very happy with what
Just
I liked.
like it.
I do. No, that's what I'm saying.
You don't gotta.
No,
You gotta
but,
explain yourself.
You don't gotta explain yourself. You don't have to say you have a bias. You like it.
yeah, but I do have a bias.
Who cares? I have a
Okay.
bias towards movies.
Sure.
I don't-
Jonathan.
Jonathan, let
Hi.
Robbie like this movie, okay?
Hi, Robbie.
Hi, Jonathan.
I'm here to say that your bias is the only reason you're allowed to like this movie. Otherwise, you're not allowed to like it. Rocco, you're not allowed to like it. You don't have a bias.
Well,
Yeah, come on, Rocco.
fuck. I give this movie a 2 out of 10.
Actually, I'm curious.
Jeez, I didn't
No,
think it was
I'm just
that bad.
kidding.
It's a 4 out of 10 for me.
Is it really?
Yeah, 4 out of 10.
I was curious what your number
I
was.
thought you were gonna do 5. 4 is okay. Little below average. That makes sense actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
that
what you've been
explains
just
saying.
why.
below halfway. Well,
This
We've
is-
been Wonder Woman, and you've been the Chimps.
Wink.
wink at the microphone.